Studio commentary. The game at Old Trafford is underway as Manchester United take on Southampton. And United a disappointing draw away at Burnley in midweek, whereas Southampton had an excellent performance away at Tottenham. An exciting game. They won it 3-2 in the end, although there was a little bit of VAR involvement at the end there to make sure that Southampton got the points over the line. But it was a very good performance. They'll be looking to carry that on today against the Manchester United side, who haven't really quite hit the ground running as I think fans would have expected under Ralph Rangnick. But straight away Southampton putting a bit of pressure here on United. And it's myself and Steve Pearson taking you through the action. Steve, hopefully it should be a good game.
Yeah, it should be. Very quick, as you say. Early press from Southampton, as you'd expect, in the faces of these United players very, very quickly, winning the ball back very high up. Of course, the doommongers, the whingers and whiners have been out all week from an Old Trafford point of view. Luke Shaw on the interview round saying, no, nothing to see here, move along, everything's fine. I think we can safely say everything's probably not perfect, but I don't think it's as bad as people are making out. It's a side that struggled over the last week or so, so the leaks have started again, and the silly things like that are happening. But on the pitch, they need to settle down, get a good start to this game, and then I don't see too many problems for them in the long run. It should be a United win, but this is a Southampton side, as we know, that has a tendency not to lie down and not to know when it's beaten. Absolutely.
Well, United have finally got over the halfway line. They're on the attack now down the left-hand side as Shaw and Sancho try and exchange passes, but Stuart Armstrong just blocks off Jadon Sancho. It's out for a throw to Manchester United down the right-hand side. And from Southampton's point of view, they would have been delighted with the way they played at Spurs. They beat Coventry after extra time in the Cup the week before that. Just the one defeat in their last five. That was a 3-1 reverse away at Wolves. But here comes Armando Broja, picks the ball off, and he's off down the right-hand side now over the halfway line. Under pressure there from Rafael Varane, takes him on and gets past him. It's great play here from Broja. Gets into the penalty area, puts the ball across the 6-yard box. It was the right idea. Elyounoussi was coming in from the left-hand side. That was a great run there from Broja. It looked like 2 or 3 times he might get stopped, but he just carried on.
Yeah, I love Broja. I like what I see from him so far in the first half of this season. As you say, committed, confident, drives at players, comfortable with the ball at his feet. That time you kind of get the feeling, well, there's only one player to aim at in the box. He puts the ball into a really good position, but it's not the run that the player in the middle is actually making, who's coming across in a more flat run across the 6-yard box. So, on the one hand, great run and very, good ball into the box. But if he gets his head up better, he sees the run, as you say, into the area of Elyounoussi and needs to pull it back. But he picks the wrong gambler. Just every now and again, as I say, there's that little bit of inconsistency from Broja. He's still not the finished article, but a very, very good player coming forward and will cause this United defence problems.
Absolutely, yes. Chelsea loanee, of course, just another one of lots of excellent Chelsea players that can't quite get into the team. Of course, Valentino's another one, of course, Livramento, I should say, who plays at Southampton as well this season. But here come Manchester United now, down the right-hand side with Rashford. He gets to the edge of the area. He puts a cross in, looking for Cristiano Ronaldo. The idea was right from Rashford, but it never really had the call to get near Ronaldo in the end.
Absolutely. It needed the bend, didn't it? Ronaldo had made the right run, just pulled away from the central defenders, just gambled at the far post. He puts the thumbs up. He knows that the idea was right. Rashford just looked down at the ball. Didn't really, as you say, get the whip on it that he wanted, but if he does, there's a really good chance at the far post there for Ronaldo. But from a Southampton point of view, just seemed to lose that first press and then drop off too quickly for me. Didn't really kind of patrol that midfield area, gave United too much space.
That's something that they really have to watch out for, Southampton. If you give Manchester United too much space in midfield, they will capitalise. But Romeu finds a good ball to get Stuart Armstrong in. He was on the score sheet in midweek, runs straight into McTominay though. Ward-Prowse trying to keep the ball alive there for Southampton, but it is United now back in possession. Pogba gets away from Walker-Peters and then finds a good ball down the left to pick out Jadon Sancho, who breaks into the penalty area. Sancho then lays it off for Ronaldo, but that's good covering inside the penalty area there from Romeu. As Forster avoided the corner kick there, I think he might have just. United are certainly appealing. It's been a bright start, so I finally can remind you of the 2 11s. It's David De Gea in goal for United with Diogo Dalot, Rafael Varane, Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw as a back four. 2 holding midfielders, Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay with Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes and Jadon Sancho as the attacking 3 playing behind Cristiano Ronaldo. For Southampton, Fraser Forster is in goal, a back 4 of Carl Walker-Peters, Jan Bednarek, Mohamed Salisu and Romain Perrault. 4 in midfield, Stuart Armstrong, James Ward-Prowse, Oriol Romeu and Mohamed Elyounoussi with Armando Broja and Shea Adams as the 2 up front. And offside there, just stopping that Southampton move in his tracks there. Adams just a little bit frustrated. He's a very good forward, Adams, but just hasn't really got the goals that we would have expected after his bright start at Birmingham.
Yeah, and again, he's another one who's not quite developed, as you say, as quickly as we expected. Still brings something to this Southampton side, but you feel there's more, don't you? All the time with Adams, you think there's something extra here that we're not quite getting out of him so far, whether that's the way that he's playing, whether it's the side that he's in, it's not quite fitting, but he's a good side, a good player that's going to cause defences problems. But there's more to him. He's got to have something else around him, you feel, to make him spark.
Well, United have played a short free kick and they've lost the ball. And Adams now tries from 30 yards out. It opened up in front of him, put his right foot through it, but in the end it's over the bar. McTominay just dawdled on it there round about the halfway line. And Southampton straight away on the attack.
Yeah, that wasn't quite what I had in mind from Adams of let's try one from 35 yards out, but hey, why not? He got a bit of space. There wasn't really much up with him. He got Breuer in front of him, who was well and truly marked up by two defenders, so there wasn't really much option. Would have liked to have seen him gamble on himself and drag himself forward there into a more attacking position before shooting.
Well, here come United now with a ball from Pogba into Sancho. Sancho to Ronaldo into the penalty area. He's past Forster, but it's stopped on the line. Great play there from Romain Perrault, stopping the ball going in, and United just a yard away from being in front there.
Yeah, lovely play, wasn't it? The pass through into that space again. A little bit of a gap between the back four and the players in front of them, in the defending players in midfield. Ball forward from Sancho was perfect. Lovely run from Ronaldo. Does exactly the right thing. Takes Forster out of the equation. Pulls it back, on goal. Nothing wrong with that at all in terms of the finish for me. Perrault just quick enough. Good defending. Really, really good covering by the fullback.
It was, yes. Salisu and Forster collided with each other as well as they were trying to get after the second ball. I do think that had that been on the other side of the penalty when it was Ronaldo going round Forster then hitting it with his right foot, I think he may have put just a bit more power behind it, and we may well have seen United take the leader in any case. But Ronaldo hasn't scored since the 30th of December. Had a bright start at Old Trafford on his return, but just like with the rest of the team, it's just sort of slowed down a little bit for him recently.
Yeah, it has. And you talk about the team not firing on all cylinders. Ronaldo's a part of that, but he's not the only one in that sense. We've seen inconsistencies across all players at all levels at the moment. So that will be it's a worry, isn't it, in that sense? But I think we know, and we knew when Ronaldo came in, that he is a player who's slightly on the win, and I don't mean to disrespect to that. It's just the way that his career is going now. He needs somebody else alongside him who will bring those goals in. And at the moment, United with Rashford, Fernandes, Sancho, and others have not really found the foil that goes alongside Ronaldo to take the pressure off him.
I'm still not sold on the idea of him being a number 9 either. I still think he does better starting in a wide position. It's where he got all his goals at his record-breaking time at Real Madrid. Of course, he was a younger player then playing in a different system, but I just sometimes think because he is so talented at bringing the ball out from midfield, you lose a bit of that by him waiting further upfield to actually get the service.
Yeah, and obviously, somebody like Cavani is an obvious one to play up there slightly further in front of him, isn't he? But he's not available either.
He's not, and United make a bit of a mess of playing out from the back. Elanusi puts a ball in, and Walker-Peters, 5 yards out, puts it across. It drops to Ward-Prowse's strike is charged down. Great chance for Southampton to take the lead, and finally Luke Shaw clears it up towards the halfway line, and suddenly United are on the attack. It's 3-on-2. Sancho gets to the edge of the area. He's got Ronaldo and Rashford with him. Sancho goes alone, tries to tuck it past the keeper. Saved by the feet of Forster. Sancho just a little bit too greedy there. Shaw keeps the ball in play, and United still have a chance here down the left with Pogba. He goes back to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes lifts a ball into the penalty area. Ronaldo and Perrault just clashing there, but the ball is out for a Southampton goal kick.
Yeah, it's a decent save from Forster. Spreads himself well at 6'6". You'd expect him to be able to do that. But from Sancho's point of view, if you're going to take that gamble with those two players in the middle, you've got to make sure you score, and he didn't. At the other end, so unlucky. Lovely ball over the top. Nice little pullback. Adams is there. Looks like he's just going to tap it into the empty net. Feet go out from underneath him, and the chance is gone. But great play from United to pick up on it. The only defence for Sancho, you would say, of him not playing it through is when he doesn't do it first time, the two players are probably offside, so he then has to take it. But you kind of get the feeling that he should have played it first time. Yeah,
and Adams almost scored that with his shoulder anyway after he hit the deck. Then James Ward-Prowse following up at the edge of the area. His strike, though, was well charged down. There's a couple of United players diving for it, but I think it was Shaw that got the telling block in the end. At the other end, we can see again as Sancho got forward, got away from Bednarek and just tried to poke that ball past Forster, but it was always a little bit too close to the goalkeeper in the end.
And you look again, Salisu is behind his keeper, so I think if that even goes past Forster, it's still going to get cleared away off the line by Salisu as well. So good defending, good covering, but 2 good chances for United, 1 good chance for Southampton. It bodes well for the game as a neutral.
Certainly does, as United now in possession on the halfway line with Paul Pogba. Goes back towards Harry Maguire. We've got 10 minutes on the clock, independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. There's also an early game in the Championship available on our service, Yorkshire derby between Huddersfield and Sheffield United. That is also goalless. And there's 3 games at 3 o'clock. Brentford against Crystal Palace, Everton against Leeds and Watford against Brighton. In the Premier League, and then Norwich against Manchester City is the 5:30 kick-off. All those games available on our service, as United now in possession with Scott McTominay. Switches over towards the right-hand side for Dalot. Now it's with Marcus Rashford trying to get away from Perrault. Plays it square, but to no one in particular, and that's picked off now by James Ward-Prowse, who plays a ball over the top, but that just ends up being a clearance in the end. No chance of Che Adams getting on the end of that one. And it's now with Luke Shaw down the left-hand side. The game has just slowed down in the last minute or two. Both sides finding some early space, but it's United just trying to slow things down and control things in midfield. Now here is Dalot again, back towards Raphael Varane, whose time at Old Trafford has just been a little bit broken up by injuries. Haven't seen the best of him as yet. As a ball over the top now, one for Bruno Fernandes to chase. He does well there because he does get there ahead of Fraser Forster, but to keep the ball away from Forster, he pretty much had to go out of play with it, so it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, fortunately for Forster, that was the case. Lovely time run from Fernandes. Great ball over the top as well, into the channel behind Salisu. Forster gambles. Doesn't really need to come, to be honest with you, and gets away with one a little bit there. He's almost in a position where he's having to challenge Fernandes as the Manchester United man gets the ball first. Fortunately, as you say, the pace of the ball just too much for him. But again, Salisu slipping in the area. 3 or 4 Southampton players have slipped on the floor at the moment. Not seeing the same from United. Don't know whether it's a different type of boot, what it is, but United players seem much more sure-footed in the first 12 minutes than the Southampton side of things.
Yeah, well, footballers are like F1 cars these days, aren't they, with the amount of various tyres or boots that they need for various weather conditions and pitch conditions. And certainly a couple of Southampton players, Salisu in particular, having trouble staying on his feet early on. It looks like quite a slick surface at Old Trafford. As a ball over the top from Dalot picks out Rashford. He's onside. He's got Salisu for company, and Perrault runs straight into Mohamed Salisu. And the ball goes out for a goal kick. Just not enough space there for Rashford to be able to turn.
Yeah, it's good defending, isn't it? Salisu doesn't commit himself. Again, it's a good run, though. They're finding balls over the top from 10 yards or so inside their own half, in behind the defenders. On that occasion, he just had to wait for it a little bit. Lovely first touch from Rashford, but then Salisu just keeps him where he needs to be, shepherds him down towards the sideline. Very comfortable defending, good play all round. But I think from a Southampton point of view, they'd be worried about the number of balls that are coming straight through the defence and finding a man in red.
It's going to be a problem, as I say. Ralph Hasenhüttl will certainly be concerned about that, as his side look good in these early stages, but perhaps just a little bit too open when United do have the ball. But it is now with Mohamed Salisu, just at the edge of the centre circle, square to Ward-Prowse. And he looks up, saw Walker-Peters getting away down that right-hand side, but he picks out a pass to Armando Broja. He tries to get it over towards the right way where he had Walker-Peters and Armstrong. It's cleared back to the halfway line, headed on now by Bednarek. Straight onto the head of Maguire, who heads it forward, but Southampton have it back. Great play there from Elyounoussi to skip away from McTominay. Elyounoussi now over on the right this time, puts a cross in, gets a big deflection. It's out for a corner to Southampton. So they're matching United in terms of their attacking intent, I would say, early on.
Absolutely. Neither side seems to want to hold the ball in midfield at all. It's very quick, and I don't mean long ball at the moment. It's sharp, quick passing, quick movement as well from both teams, which is keeping it really open. And from a Southampton point of view, set pieces likely to be key today.
Certainly is. It's a good chance here. They've got some big players to try and aim for here. Broja and Salisu and Bednarek are in there as well, trying to get on the end of this. We can see Salisu inside the 6-yard box alongside Stuart Armstrong, but it's a short corner here from Elyounoussi to pick out Armstrong. Then it's a back heel from Armstrong back to Elyounoussi. Training route move that doesn't work because the back pass was a bit under hit, and now Sancho is there to just take the ball off Ward-Prowse and tries to clear it away. Fernandes finds Ronaldo. That goes out for a throw to Manchester United. So a wasted corner from Southampton in the end. And now Pogba pings a ball over the top, looking for Rashford. It's a great ball from Pogba as well. And he's got players in support now, Rashford, if he can find them. It's Dalot down the right-hand side. It's Ronaldo waiting in the penalty area. It's now back with Pogba, who joined the attack at the edge of the box, gets away from Elanusi, puts a cross in, which is just over the head of Ronaldo, as Bruno Fernandes tries to slide in to keep that in play, but he won't be able to, and Walker-Peters now brings it away for Southampton, finds Armstrong, runs straight into trouble in the form of his fellow compatriot there, McTominay, and it's out for a throw, although I think Southampton were expecting a free kick.
I think they may have got a free kick, actually, Paul. It seemed to be the reactions of the players suggested that the referee has given the nudge in the back from McTominay as a free kick. Doesn't really matter. It will still be cleared away by Southampton either way. But what a ball from Pogba that was. That's why he absolutely infuriates me, because he can get a ball like that outside of his foot, 40 yards, straight to the feet of Rashford, absolutely perfect pass, and then get into an attacking position. And at other times he's wandering around the pitch as though he doesn't really care. And it's so frustrating from what you can see. Yellow card here. Rashford's gone diving in on a challenge, trying to get across quickly. And I'm afraid to say he's took Perot out. At least first look is he didn't control him. So, he took the standing leg. Perot makes the most of it, as you'd expect, but he's gone sliding in. Can't do that, yellow card.
Well, he's not a centre-forward anymore, Rashford. He plays more on the wing these days, but that really was a centre-forward's tackle, wasn't it, there from United's number 10. Never looked close to getting the ball there, and straight away Stuart Atwell, who's hardly had to get involved really in these first 15 minutes, does show the first yellow card of the afternoon. As Southampton now take this free kick, it's headed out quickly by Varane, and Southampton have gained a bit of territory in the meantime. It's a throw down the left-hand side, almost level with the edge of the penalty area. Salisu is coming across to take this. He's a big, tall, strong player, so he's taking a bit of a run-up as well. Can't take too much of a run-up because of that very steep slope at the edge of the Old Trafford pitch, but certainly you think that he's going to try and launch this one towards the penalty area, which he does. Aims at Broja, who does head it on, but nobody behind him in a yellow Southampton away shirt to be able to get anything out of that. So now it's with De Gea. He rolls it out towards Luke Shaw, and he plays it back towards Harry Maguire. Square now to Dalot down the right-hand side. 17 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Still goalless between Manchester United and Southampton, but both sides are certainly trying to change that. And here come United now down the right with Rashford. He's stopped here by Perot, and Salisu goes back to Pogba. Now it's with Dalot playing it back towards the halfway line for Varane. Left-footed ball over towards Shaw, and a bit of space here for Shaw down the left-hand side. He had Sancho for support. Just goes back towards Bruno Fernandes. Shaw again puts a cross in. Nobody in United shirt in the penalty area. Easily header away there for Salisu. Loose ball now picked up by Pogba. Over to Rashford. Tries a cross along the ground this time, which is swept away by Romeu. But United have the ball back again here with Dalot down the right. Gets towards the edge of the area. Tries to play a 1-2 with Ronaldo. Good play there from Bednarek to slide in. And that's cleared back towards the halfway line. Broja closing down on Maguire. But he's comfortably able to control that. Goes over towards Varane. And Varane just holds the ball up. But as you say, it's a game so far that seems to be bypassing midfield quite a bit.
Absolutely, he's quick passes, quick through, isn't it? There's a lot of players in a congested area with Adams and Broja now starting to push back a little after the first 10 minutes. They're not pressing anywhere near as high Southampton as they were in the early stages. Sancho chases a long ball down but can't keep it in play. But one of the things that's happening at the moment is, particularly out wide, Sancho and Rashford, they're being double, triple teamed sometimes by Southampton at the moment to make sure there's not that quick ball into the box to try and cut off the supply lines out wide. They're taking the gamble that they can leave a player free in the middle who can then be closed down by others and covered in that way. So at the moment, a lot of pressure on Rashford, I should say, and Sancho whenever they have the ball. The only times there hasn't been that is when it's been quick play from United through midfield, hasn't given Southampton then time to set that defensive trap, and then they've been able to find that way through. Yeah,
absolutely, and we just saw Ronaldo there looking a little bit frustrated. He's had very few touches of the ball so far. Again, it's the point we made right at the start of the game, that do you perhaps lose a bit of Ronaldo's ability by having him as that lone striker? Does mean that other teammates are responsible in getting the ball to him, and that's probably one of his best qualities, is the fact that he can pick out teammates when he's in that creative role. But the Saints now heading back towards Fraser Forster. Long clearance from the keeper. Good header there on the halfway line from Varane. It goes out for a throw to Southampton down the left-hand side. Looking at the United bench this afternoon, it's Elanga, it's Lingard, Jones, Mabry, Lindelof, Mata, Wan-Bissaka, Alice Tellis and Henderson. A strong bench there for United. Still a couple of first-teamer players missing. Bailly and Fred, to name but a couple. Matic as well is on the injured list. As for Southampton, it's a Long, Livramento, Diallo, Adam Armstrong, that is, Valery, Stephen Smallbone, Gineppo and goalkeeper Caballero. Southampton slowly getting their injury list down. They're only really missing 2 first-team players, I would say, now in McCarthy and Redmond. But Forster just seems to have grown into the role a little bit. I remember seeing him a season or 2 ago as Saints' sub-keeper, and he was struggling a little bit. I think the amount of time he spent on the pitch has helped him this time.
Yeah, there was a big dip in form, wasn't there, from Fraser Forster, another one who you kind of thought was going to keep developing, keep going.
Well, he was borderline England squad, wasn't he, at one point?
Yeah, it certainly was, but sort of faded away and had a little bad run behind a Southampton defence that was struggling a little as well, which I don't think helped the situation. But as you say, looking much stronger, much more confident this season, and I think again some of that comes with the defensive front that's in front of him. But strange thing is with Southampton, of course, they can't keep conceding this many goals that they do at the moment. 12 matches now without a clean sheet, so they're picking up points, but it is a little bit of we'll score more goals than you at the moment.
Absolutely, which just as we say that, though, a ball over the top. Salisu hasn't got there, and Rashford breaks through. He's got people waiting inside the 6-yard box. Sancho is there, and he tucks in from just a few yards. Well, it's something that we've been warning Southampton about since the very start of the game, that although they're trying to match United for pressing and for attacking flair, they're just leaving too many gaps at the back. And this ball played over the top to Rashford. He had so much space, and there were 2 players to aim for inside the 6-yard box as well.
Absolutely, and again, it's that little ball down the channel, isn't it? On the right-hand side this time. We said it a number of times. Look, Rashford is off. Again, it's that ball from 10 yards inside the Manchester United half. 3 or 4 times they've tried that. They haven't quite got it right so far, but that one was perfect. That time Rashford over the back of Salisu, as you said, his head's up all the way along, isn't he? He's checking the run of Sancho, knows exactly where he is. Sancho times it perfectly, keeps behind the ball, so he's onside. It doesn't go down as an own goal, I think, for me. It's going in anyway. It comes off Walker Peters.
It does come
last.
off Walker Peters after Sancho has struck it. Interestingly enough, actually, Bednarek played the United players onside twice there. If he'd have just been a yard behind Rashford, then Rashford would have been off when the ball was played to him. And then because he was behind all the rest of his defenders, he also played on Sancho when the ball was played as square. So Southampton, after this bright start, they do concede on 22 minutes. We're back underway now. Long ball played towards Breuer, who was off down the left-hand side. Headed out by Dalot. Throw to the Southampton, and they've got a chance straight away. Try and send a few players further forward. Salisu waits to take the throw.
So I think that comes back into the thing we were talking about, wasn't it? They were trying to double team players out wide, cut the supply lines out wide, but what Manchester United have found is, OK, you're going to stop us doing that. We're going to play these balls through, as you say, there's 3 or 4, all from exactly the same point, 10 yards inside the half, either side of the centre circle, passes through into the spaces, and it's killed Southampton 3 or 4 times.
Well, Southampton trying to respond straight away. Long throw from Salisu is headed away by Pogba. It drops back to Salisu down the left-hand side. He plays it into Perrault, but he runs straight into Pogba. Battle of the Frenchman there, but it's the United number 6 that brings the ball away, and he plays it square to Luke Shaw as well. He can perhaps start a counter-attack here for United. Tries to play a 1-2 there with the goal scorer Sancho. There was a foul there from Luke Shaw, says referee Stuart Atwell. Bit of a surprised look on Shaw's face, but it will be a free kick to the visitors. We are over the halfway point then in this first half. 23 minutes gone. It is Manchester United 1, Southampton 0, and it will be Steve to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. It's slowed down a little, but been a frantic first quarter of the game so far, flown by. Not always the case in these lunchtime games. They can be a little bit soporific to start off with. This one has not been, as both sides have been willing to attack and quick to attack as well. Southampton, after a very bright 10 minutes, could have scored through Che Adams, who slipped inside the penalty area when it looked like he got a simple tap in to put Southampton in front. But it's Manchester United who have taken the lead, of course, with Sancho's goal. It's Southampton who have a throw-in on their halfway line. So that's 13 matches without a clean sheet in the Premier League for Southampton now. But as you say, it's not stopped them from picking up points as Breuer picks up possession here, drops it inside. Elyounoussi will have some space. He tries a long ball over the top, looking for Walker Peters, who gets his toe end on it, somehow manages to keep it in play. and has support behind him from Armstrong. First time cross in from Ward-Prowse, headed away, picked up by Fernandez, who will just launch one over the top. He's looking for a handball, and the play, I think, has stopped. It has. Referee says that there was a handball. Salisu says he was just jumping up and inadvertently.
What was interesting there was the referee just said, "No, he sort of pointed to his earpiece there, Stuart Atwell. Now, is it possible that Salisu could get sent off for trying to handball a long ball inside the opposition half? I mean, I think that would be stretching the idea of a deliberate handball a little bit too much, but doesn't stop Bruno Fernandes asking the question, does it?
No, I think, as you say, he went with hands up, therefore it's going to be a handball. There wasn't particularly movement towards the ball, as you say, but he's up with his arms up. There's no need to be in that position. Therefore, it's unnatural, isn't it, in the ruling and now from a handball point of view. So, handball given, and the advantage does stop a little. Well, I think Manchester United are over-egging the advantage there that they actually had. I still don't think a United player was actually going to get on the end of the ball when it went over the top. No, absolutely not.
But interesting that the goal for United came on 22 minutes. We're now on 25. The last 5 minutes of possession, Steve, is 80-20 in favour of Southampton. So it just shows you that United really did score that goal on the counter-attack, and they've not really seen much of the ball since or before then either.
It's not been a bad performance from Southampton, but they find themselves a goal down as United break away. And Dalot finds Rashford. First time cross from him into the box. He's hooked away by Bednarek. And will be tidied up, or should be, by Romeo. Takes a little bit of time on it, but Southampton, poor ball, then across field, only finds Pogba, who looks up. Fortunately, he's closed down quickly by Perrault. Will be a free kick here on this occasion to Manchester United as Pogba is knocked to the floor.
That's right, change of hairstyle from Paul Pogba, looks a bit more streamlined, and he certainly seems to be moving around the pitch very comfortably today. It's been one of those games where he's not sort of in the front row, but every time he gets the ball, he just seems to be doing something significant.
I'll say then, sensible haircut, sensible performance so far seems to be the case from Pogba, which is good to see. As we say, when he's in full flight, there is nobody better, but at times he does frustrate. But a free kick here he has won, well away from goal, but Fraser Forster still wants a couple of players just to make sure that neither Fernandes or Shaw fancy their chances from that kind of distance. It is around about 35-40 yards out. It's chipped into the area, looking for Pogba, who's shot on the turn. He's charged down before it can cause any danger to the Southampton goal. It bobbles harmlessly through to Forster, who will launch one long downfield for Breuer to chase, but Dalot gets there first. That's help from McTominay, and that's comfortably tidied up from Manchester United. They get themselves well away from the penalty area. Shaw now comes across field, finds himself in a central midfield position. Then he rolls it back out wide to Fernandes, who dropped into the left side that Shaw had vacated. Plenty of yellow shirts back, though, at the moment for the Saints, as McTominay rolls one out wide again. Sancho will amble forward. It's walking pace stuff from Manchester United. They're playing the game at their pace because they're the ones in front. It's up to Southampton to try and change things as Dalot picks it up right-hand side. Into the feet of Pogba, little triangles and interplay again. Ronaldo's now dropped away from the penalty area. Fernandes has gone forward into a central position. And you kind of get the feeling now that United have said, OK, we're going to have 5 or 10 minutes of game at our pace.
Yes, absolutely, but not sure they would have been aware of that stat we saw a moment or two ago, but they'll certainly know that they've not seen as much of the ball as they would have liked in these first 28 minutes. They have the lead, and now they want to get the game under a stranglehold as well.
They have possession again midway inside the Saints half, left-hand side. It's training ground stuff at the moment. Triangles across the pitch. Good movement from the United players. Ronaldo tries to step inside, but has the ball whipped off his toe by El Yunusi, and then Perrault will play it downfield. He was looking for El Yunusi again through the left-hand side, trying to get a quick breakaway, but just too many red shirts around on that occasion. They'll tidy up. Will United ball out with Shaw again, who's directing traffic, but doesn't see any movement in front of him, so we'll just start things off gently. Possession certainly drifting towards United over the last few minutes. Here's Pogba again, looking for one of those balls. This time he tries to find Ronaldo. There's a little bit of miscommunication between Salisu and Forster, but the two of them tidy it up. And Fraser Forster suddenly thinks he's an outfield player who takes on Fernandes and gets it back eventually from Romeo to more conventionally launch one downfield. Flicked on by Breuer. Too far for Adams, though. Will be tidied up by Varane. Little industrial strength clearance downfield. Bednarek picks it up. Nice turn from El Yunusi. And then he's caught by McTominay. And it will be a free kick to the Saints right in the centre circle. Yeah, well, that's a welcome break there for Southampton, just to get that free kick and just slow things down, give themselves a chance to have a bit of possession. And Yunusi trying to get away from McTominay. But in the end, McTominay got none of the ball there. So Southampton are able to just take a short free kick.
just to try and slow things down here. It would have been frustrating for Hasenhüttl, but then, as you said, Steve, it's one of those things where he must know that his side are playing as well as they are going forward because they're sacrificing a bit of their defensive prowess.
Absolutely, and that seems to have just dissipated a little, probably you would say since the 20th minute. Not really seen anything from Southampton around the penalty area after a good, bright start from the visitors. As we tick over the half-hour mark, Manchester United 1, Southampton 0. Here comes Bednarek. Closed down by Fernandes again, has to go backwards to Forster. He'll roll it out wide on the right-hand side, and at the moment, Southampton penned back in their own half as Ward-Prowse drops in deep to try and start something off, but Fernandes will close him down. That's better from Southampton, but Elyounoussi turns away, and McTominay will tap again on the ankles, and the referee will have a word with him. Wants him pulled across. I think it's more a warning than anything else. That's 2 from McTominay on the ankles. Stamp on him. I think a totting up. I might have drifted towards a yellow here for McTominay.
Yeah, I just think that there's probably just a little bit too much intent there from Scott McTominay. I think he has got away with it without getting booked on this occasion, but I would say it's a pretty safe bet he is going to get booked in this game because we're only on 31 minutes. Is McTominay not going to make another late challenge? In fact, no, the referee has done a bit of totting up. It's taken him a bit longer than it normally does, but it may well be the right decision to give him a yellow card there, Steve.
Might have got a whisper in his ear as well that there was a little bit of not a stamp as such, nothing that would lead to a red card, but there was a foot left in.
Well, of course, VAR is not supposed to get involved with yellow cards, but then you can't stop the VAR officials speaking to the referee at any time, so they can always just mention it to him that it's just a little bit much there from McTominay. And I think the fact that it took so long, he went to check Elyounoussi first and then called McTominay over and booked him, seems to me that he may well have had a suggestion there. And now Harry Maguire, United captain, just asking a question about that yellow card as well.
Yeah, I don't know how Maguire can see anything different from where he was. Let's be honest.
It's more the thought of it being that late decision. I think players read a lot into that, just like fans do. If it takes the referee more than a few seconds to give a decision, they immediately assume it's because he's been influenced or something like that. So it's just one of those things where the referee just needs to get a handle on that. But Hasenhüttl using that moment there as Elyounoussi is still down, just to try and get a word with his players.
Yeah, I think if I'd have been refereeing, I'd have just said, Harry, go away. It's nothing to do with you. It's an obvious foul. Second one, yellow card. Go away. Get on with the game. Anyway, Elyounoussi is back onto his feet. Southampton, after all that, will have a free kick. It's taken a while to come. Elyounoussi looks like he's okay. He's still stretching and pushing the foot into the floor just to see what the state of play is, make sure that he is all right to play on. A couple of Southampton subs up warming up as you'd expect, just in case, but I don't think they'll be needed as Romeo looks for a free kick here, but there's hardly anybody to aim at in front of him. Firstly, the whole of the Manchester United defence is there, so in the end he just rolls it back to Salisu and Southampton will start off from inside their own half. So a free kick in what looks to me like a potentially dangerous position is just a kind of nothing for Southampton. It's nothing,
and not only that, after such a short free kick, you're going to get 5-6 United players pressing on the halfway line, so it immediately puts Southampton under pressure as well.
Yeah, I cannot see the point of that free kick, I've got to be honest. But anyway, Southampton have possession with Salisu. He'll roll it out onto the left-hand side. Perot steps inside, away from a couple of challenges, finds Romeo. Long ball from him over onto the far side for Ward-Prowse. It bounces a little high, but Ward-Prowse manages to keep the ball in play. Picked up again. And eventually it will go all the way back to Bednarek. Southampton's turn to have a little bit of possession. United trying to close them down quickly. Fernandes dives in with a challenge, but gets neither ball or player. But in the end, it does force Southampton into a wasteful ball downfield, which goes back to De Gea. On clearance from him downfield, Ronaldo gets on the wrong side, pushes the player down, and inevitably when there's a free kick against Ronaldo, the smile comes out as if to say, me? Really?
Well,
surely not.
He's suggesting that because Bednarek's like he's showing that he's a foot taller. He's not a foot taller than Ronaldo, but he is a stockier, taller player. And I think Ronaldo's suggesting that if I lean on him, he shouldn't really be falling over that easily. But even big defenders have learned now how to show that they've had a sort of push on them. So I'm not surprised he did what he did there.
Yeah, keep your elbow out of his back is the simple answer for Ronaldo rather than anything else. But anyway, there we go. As the free kick is again taken short by Southampton, they'll have possession with Armstrong wide on the right-hand side. Comes into Romeo. Manages to extricate himself from a challenge from Pogba, and then finds Ward-Prowse. Armstrong again into Romeo, stayed on side. Armstrong with a shot, just wide in the end. It was a spinner across the floor. De Gea was scrambling, but in the end, it's a good yard or so wide.
It was. United just perhaps pausing for a second there because they felt that Romeo might have been offside when he played this quick 1-2. It was close, but I don't think he was offside. In any case, Armstrong hitting that with the left foot, but it always seemed like it was a yard or so wide.
Yeah, it was a little further wide than it first seemed from the first angle we saw.
Interesting stat there that United have had 4 attempts on goal. All of them have been on target. Southampton have had 3 attempts on goal. None of them have been on target.
The changes reflected in the scoreline, with United leading by a goal to nil. 35 minutes gone. Ball out of play for a throw-in to Southampton on the right-hand side. Just kind of mask the fact because of all the complaints and worries of Manchester United fans about where they should be in the table is that they're not on a bad run for most sides in that sense. 1 defeat in 11 Premier League fixtures since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left, and they lead now by a goal to nil. Fernandes tries to find Ronaldo on the edge of the penalty area, can't quite do so though. Romeo is being held back by Pogba, clear free kick. Pogba knows it as well. He grabs hold of Romeo's hand and pulls him back up to his feet. It will be a free kick, but that was a good position for United potentially. They got 2 players on Romeo. He wasn't going anywhere. Silly free kick to give away.
It is a little bit, yeah. It's a free pass for Southampton, isn't it? It just gives them that chance to play out as the rain has just started to pick up a little bit over Old Trafford, which is going to make that surface and the ball a little bit more slick as well. Something that certainly the Southampton players will have to be aware of. So we saw them slipping around earlier in the half, but once again, it's the visitors in possession trying to get forward.
And they'll have possession down the left-hand side. Salisu rolls it into the feet of Romeo. Tries a long right-footed ball again, as he has many times so far in this first half, up towards Armstrong. Little 1-2 with Adams, still a long way from goal. He clashes into to McTominay, but both of them stand their ground. Referee happy that it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, as the challenges came in. But Southampton win back possession. Ward-Prowse now in a central position. Southampton have suddenly gone very narrow, and Ward-Prowse tries to change that with the ball out wide to Perrault. But at the moment, United's defence is well set across the edge of the penalty area. Good ball though out wide from Armstrong to Walker-Peters. Plays a decent ball across the 6-yard box. There's 3 yellow shirts in there, and Walker-Peters runs away with his arms outstretched as if to say, well, put the ball in, you've got to attack it.
Absolutely. I mean, can we find any... Well, Breuer is offside for one thing, so he can't be going for it. Adams was just a little bit too far behind play, but you can't criticise Walker-Peters. That is the right ball. If you were going to be ultra critical, maybe it could just have a little bit of curl to bring it closer to his teammates. But as we saw there, I think that Adams was always too far away, and Breuer was always offside.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. That's the little inconsistency, isn't it, from Breuer, where you see something good, but then on that occasion he's got to time his run far better than that, because as the ball comes in, he's then stationary and offside as well. So, yeah, that's that little bit of where you want to see the development in that play to make sure that run's timed, because if he's coming in at full pelt across the back of the defence there, it's a simple tap in at the far post on that occasion. Good ball in though from Southampton, but it's twice now.
Only 20-year-old though, Breuer, and as I say, on loan from Chelsea. He's already made his national team choice and chosen to play for his parents' country of origin, Albania, and he's already been in a couple of Albanian squads as well. So he's certainly developing very quickly from being a Chelsea youth player to now being a Premier League regular and an international player as well.
I have high expectations, Paul. I accept that. The ball is back with Ward-Prowse in midfield.
But you should. That's those details that you have to learn. Of course, it needs to be in the right place at the right time. As United now win the ball back inside Saints territory. That's great work though there from Walker-Peters, and it's the visitors playing well, going on the attack again. Yeah,
got themselves out well. Here's Breuer now in a better position, driving towards the penalty area, right hand side. He wants to play a ball across. He had to check for a moment to find the space where Adams might be, and that gave Maguire the chance just to get back. No criticism this time of the Southampton play, though. He tried what he could to get the ball across into a good position, timed his run perfectly, but on this occasion good defending from Maguire.
Yeah, no criticism from Adams either. He puts his thumb up to acknowledge that Breuer was doing the right thing, holding it up. The cross is charged down. Hasenhüttl frustrated. Southampton made a bit of a mess of their last corner kick. They need to do a better one this time.
Yeah, there are chances here for Southampton. United have got to be careful. They still lead by a goal to nil. Goal elsewhere in the Championship. Tell you about that in a moment as we wait for the corner from Southampton to come in from their right-hand side. It's whipped in this time towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by McTominay, only as far as Romeo, who will have a shot from distance, never really gets over it. Probably 2 or 3 players offside as well in front of De Gea, and it bounces harmlessly wide for a goal kick, but goal in the Championship, Paul.
Yes, it's a goal 6 minutes before half-time to Huddersfield. The home side take the lead against Sheffield United. Big game that's in the Championship. Always such a hard league to call week by week. But Huddersfield in 5th place against Sheffield United in 10th. And it'll be a big win for Huddersfield if they can hold on to it. Just waiting for confirmation of the goal scorer. Not had that just yet. But just before half-time, it is the home side who lead there.
Yeah, the Terriers on a very good run so far. In fact, it's been ruled out.
Yes,
we now understand.
It has. Yeah, but obviously we don't have VAR in the Championship. So there must have been a little bit trigger happy there with the score update, perhaps, or indeed it might have been one of those that we saw at the Luton-Bournemouth game a few weeks ago, where the officials almost gave themselves a pitch-side VAR discussing something and then giving an offside with a bit of a delay.
Yes, that has been ruled out, so it remains Huddersfield 0, Sheffield United 0, but doesn't negate the fact that Huddersfield's still on a decent run of form at the moment, overachieving, you would say, in terms of what was expected at the start of the season. Sheffield United probably still underachieving at the minute, but had a good win in midweek, so we'll fancy their chances on the short trip up to the John Smith Stadium. In our game, with 5 minutes to go to the break, still 1-0 to Manchester United. A throw into the box, comes back for Armstrong, who doesn't really connect fully with it. De Gea flies across his goal to make the save, but Armstrong will feel he should have got a better connection on that.
Well, it's just a little bit unfortunate for Armstrong that either the ball bounces too high or he's just a little bit too close to it, but he's almost having to sort of karate kick that ball towards goal at a slightly awkward angle as he's hitting the deck. If that ball had just sat up in front of him and he could have had his head over it, he would have put all the power behind it and that would have been a goal.
Absolutely. He did everything he could looking at the replay to actually get his leg up high enough to be able to get the shot in. Came off his shin, I think, rather than his foot, unfortunately, for the Southampton player. But again, it's another opportunity. That's 4 good chances now that Southampton have had. Here come United straight away, other end of the field, in towards Ronaldo. Turns away from the first challenge. Can't get away from the second, but keeps possession. Finds Pogba outside the area. Short ball to McTominay. His shot is charged down. Ronaldo heads it back across into the danger area. Bednarek, though, is there first. Southampton, with Adams trying to clear, ball has broken away for Rashford. May have come off a Southampton man last, because it looked like the United player was offside, but well, the flag did eventually go up. I wasn't quite sure who it had come off in the first instance, but Rashford offside. But again, chance at one end, almost a chance straight away at the other. Yeah,
Adams messing about with it at the edge of his own box, so that was risky. And I have to say, I thought that was Adams that played that ball back towards the Southampton penalty area, unless they decided that there was a deflection off a United player, which would have meant that he was offside. We're just getting a quick replay of the goal as well, which is a similar sort of setup to what we just saw now. Southampton just a little bit too exposed at the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Good finish it was from Sancho. A little bit of help from a deflection from Walker-Peters, but I suspect it may have gone in anyway. So Sancho will certainly claim it. Walker-Peters certainly won't. But as you said, it was a little bit borderline on that last one as to whether it was Maguire or Adams who got the final touch. Referee, I think, must have decided it was certainly Maguire as the flag went up. Be Southampton then in possession with Perrault down their left-hand side. Little ball in towards El Yunusi. Perrault is taken out of the play off the ball by Dalot, which stops possession. Referee says, well, he's still in possession of the ball, therefore I'm playing on. But it did stop the advantage that Southampton had down the left-hand side there, potentially with a 2-on-1. And they still have possession on the right-hand side with Armstrong. But United have reset themselves and are just pressing from the halfway line onwards. Ronaldo, though, a bit of a one-man press, though, and he turns round in frustration when he realises nobody else is doing the same, which allows Southampton at least to get out up towards Adams, midway inside the United half. Great ball from him to El Yunusi, and on again to Perrault. Can he get the ball across? He steps inside, doesn't want to take it on his right foot, does eventually take the shot in, and De Gea does well, gets down low to his left to make the save.
He does. It's a good save from De Gea. It's a good strike from Perrault because he's definitely more left-footed. Just one of those where I think he probably did want to pass it, but when he got into the penalty area, cut in onto his right foot, could see a lot of United players in front of him to try and pick out a teammate, so he took the option of having a shot, and it almost deflected off a diving McTominay, which could have caused problems for De Gea as well.
Good handling from the United keeper to get down quickly. The ball is now back at the other end of the field again. United were looking for the quick break across, having conceded a chance at least at the other end. Immediately on to the attack. They give away a free kick here. Luke Shaw on the back of Broja. He gets frustrated and throws the ball away, which is rather silly from Luke Shaw. Referee Stuart Hartwell will just say, let's have less of that. It's too early in the game to be probably brandishing a yellow card for time wasting, but nevertheless, with half-time fast approaching, clear what Luke Shaw was up to. As Salisu has possession now for Southampton, out wide to Perot again, plays a good ball into the feet of Adams, who turns away, and again he'll try a shot from distance on the turn. Too ambitious. Again, he got 3 players inside him. Che Adams wants the glory himself a little bit too much there.
He does, and I just think that perhaps Southampton are going to regret this, because although you can never say what's going to happen in the second half, you just get the feeling that United are going to have to be a little bit more organised to stop, because it has been free-flowing possession from Southampton for long periods in this first half.
You've just seen some shots from around the stadium on the off-tube studio commentary pictures that we're seeing. The rain pouring down at Old Trafford as we tick into the final minute of the first half. Manchester United 1, Southampton 0. Sancho's goal midway through the first half still separating the two sides, but Southampton have given as good as they've got so far, certainly from an attacking point of view. Salisu has to tidy up at the back. Pogba rather has to be careful as he slides in. Somehow win a throw-in. I'm not quite sure how. And El Yunusi is of the same opinion, shall we say. I'll not quite repeat what I've just lip-read him saying to the official on the sideline, but I will say he's certainly not impressed by the decision of a throw-in to Manchester United. Ball is across with Fernandes. Back to Shaw. He'll look out wide for Sancho now. Closed down quickly from Walker-Peters again. It's comfortable for United. We wait to see how much stoppage time there will be. A little bit for the injury for El Yunusi, I suspect, as Dalot tries to play a long ball over the top. It drifts away in the breeze, but finds its way to Sancho. 2 minutes of stoppage time will be played. Sancho towards the edge of the area. Comes back on the edge of the box. Poor play, though, by Fernandes. He's too busy looking in the penalty area rather than looking at where the ball is under his feet. And in the end, it's cleared away, but easily tidied up by Maguire, who comes back for De Gea, out wide to Dalot. Southampton trying to press a little more urgently with the last couple of minutes to go in this first half, but can't get possession of it. And it's back with De Gea, who will take his time. Half-time, by the way, in the Championship. Huddersfield 0, Sheffield United 0. But I think enough for Southampton to build on in this first half to feel they'll give United something in the second.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they can come out with the same sort of energy, and also United, in fairness, have been flat-footed for periods in this first half as well, then it does give Southampton a chance, absolutely. But they need to be a little bit better in possession as Bednarik misses a ball over top. Here's Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo into the middle for Pogba to tap home. They wait to see if the flag goes up. It will eventually, and it's ruled out for offside. Again, we have to wait an inordinate amount of time, as I thought Ronaldo looked miles offside.
I did as well. I mean, I do think sometimes the linesmen do need to still make their own calls. This is like 2 or 3 yards that Ronaldo is offside. And in those situations, I just think that we do occasionally see that Premier League referees and officials have to dip into the Championship, for example. There is no VAR in the Championship, and suddenly a linesman that's always used to sort of being told what's happening has suddenly got to rely on himself. So on that occasion, I think that they should have easily been able to see that it was offside. And Pogba's still asking the referee as if is it definitely offside, but it definitely was.
Yeah, if Ronaldo's any further forward, I'd charge him for a seat. That's how far offside he was. And I agree with you, in those situations, get the flag up. It's so obvious. Anyway, ball forward, downfield by Forster from the resulting free kick. El Yunusi gets a second header onto it. Che Adams is holding his head at the moment, but as he does so, the referee brings the half to an end anyway. Sancho's goal separates the two sides at the break. It's Manchester United 1, Southampton 0.